everybody. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the SmallTown Collectibles YouTube channel. And my guest today is somebody, I followed for a long time. And the only thing that I really know how to describe this guy is just he is loved by everybody. Like, everybody loves this cat. And once you actually get to talk to him, I think you know why. He's got all kinds of cool content over on his channel. I know for a long time he was doing Free Key Fridays.
Yeah.
You've got Dollar Bin Wednesdays. One of my favorite shows that I love to go back and watch. I never get to watch it live, but I love to go back and rewatch on the Rewind is Live from Newport. It's Saturday
Yeah.
Night Louie. That's one of my absolute favorites. And then
Oh,
you're going to
thank you,
see all
Lord.
kinds of cosplay. I mean, just my man
Oh, yeah.
covers the gauntlet. So everybody join me in welcoming to 10 questions one of my absolute favorite people I've met in this community, and that is Free Key Louie.
Yeah, baby. Hello, true believers. It's your boy, Free Key Louee. Yeah.
Yeah, my man, and he even wore a Superman shirt for me.
That's it, baby.
Um,
You know this.
yeah,
You know
hey
this.
Rose. No, and I mean every word of that, Louis. Everybody that knows you says like they just love you, dude. You're one of the most kind, genuine people that I've come across in this
Uh,
community, and I'm
um,
so excited to have you on 10 Questions. So let's just jump into it, brother, and let's get with the
yes,
first
sir.
question. It's always the same, and that is, what or who got you into comics?
Goodness. I remember drawing my own comics as a kid. Like that was my favorite thing to do. I think I was my first comic book creator, but it was really things I was watching, like Ninja Turtles or things like that. I think I even invented characters, the X Kids, which is me and my brothers and my cousins, and it was little things like that. But the first comic book I saw and held was Wolverine, I believe, 40 with the die cut cover, the
Hmm.
claw die cut covers yellow, and that was I was like, what is this medium? And it blew my mind. And ever since then, I was really, really addicted. And it was cool learning. I never enjoyed reading. As a kid, I was like, reading, yuck. But comics was totally different. You're actually interested in the topic. So that was probably the first book for me. So I didn't have much options or things like that growing up. We had like the learning books. I was like, I don't want none of that stuff. I want comics. So luckily at the grocery store, they used to have back in the newsstand all the books you could ever wish, everything. And I would just read. I would sit there reading for hours. Loved every second of it. And those are the days, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I had similar experience. So, did you have anybody in your family that collected, or was it really something you just kind of found all on your own?
It was really all on my own. I didn't have much anybody really in my life that was like that. Nobody collected or read. I had maybe one cousin, and he kind of did it, but he just dabbled. Then later on, my uncle would tell me, he's like, when I was a kid, I used to love Spider Man. I was like, oh, heck yes. And he would read it back in old country because my family, they're from the Dominican Republic. So Spider Man there is Hombre de Araña, which is man of spider. So I was like, what are you talking about? The Spider Man. So it was really funny. So it's cool they knew back then. And that was, gosh, when it came out in the 60s. So it was really cool. And that's why I do like those foreign covers and stories. They look so cool and different, especially those Mexican Spider Man ones where Gwen Stacy lived and they got married. I was like,
Right.
that's cool. I love that stuff.
No, that's cool. So, like, when you were a kid, was it really just like going to the because that's what it was for me. It was going to the grocery store, and they had the newsstand rack, but had all the
Yeah.
magazines, and I would like flip through comic books. I would read like metal, I don't know, just the stuff I was into, but it was
Yeah.
always the comic books. My mom would go shop and I would stand over there at the rack and
Oh,
read
it's the
stuff.
best.
Was that your only
I
access to
think the
books?
only, because, before the internet, it was hard to find comic shops. I didn't know if they even existed. Like, I would never see them in the paper or anything like that. The yellow phone book could do so much. So I never even thought comic book shops existed. So whenever I would run into it, I was like, oh, wow, they're here. but I never bought them. If I read it, I'm like, I've already read it. There's no reason of buying them. So I remember passing up all these amazing books and just putting them right back in the rack that I
Oh
could have
yeah.
right now.
Oh, I mean, I think about that too because I mean, I can't. The books that I read back then, were a lot of books that are key now. I mean,
Yep.
that if you would have picked them up, because I would read them while I was there. I'm like you, I would read them. What's the point in buying them? I already read it. And I
Yeah.
used to love to read like Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
There was all
Same
kinds
here.
of those things that I would catch and read. So,
Love
um,
it.
question two is: do you read a lot? Like now, do you read a lot of the books you buy, or are you really more of a collector?
I became more of a collector. I used to have the rule that if I'm not reading it, I'm not buying it, kind of thing, unless it's something really, because some of the old golden age stuff can be a little hokey, but you love it, you know.
Sure.
But that was my rule. I'm not reading it. I'm not buying it. And then that went away a long time ago because the pile got high. And I was like, well, I don't want to read it out of order. I really want it together as a set. And that the collector in me just exploded because I found really good shops, really good deals. Sometimes I get them from 30 to 40 cents a book if I'm really doing a good job. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm a collector man and I want all the things that I want because I am a cover lover first. Like that's always been my number one. I love me a good cover. Uh, but I would like a good story and art. If it was that, I was like, that's a trifecta. I'm like, perfect.
No, well, I
So
mean,
yeah,
I think everybody collects different. Like I'm more of a reader, right? Like I'm a reader first,
yeah,
and then I love a good cover as well. But I find that like in doing 10 questions and talking with everybody and kind of asking this question, you kind of find the different ways that people like to consume the hobby. And like you said, you're going out and looking and you're finding covers that you love, and that's really probably your first attraction to the book. And then if you get the story, even better, right?
yeah, oh, yeah, totally. And I
Yeah.
do love the
So
universe. I love
no, yeah,
following the stories. I do
yeah.
like
So
knowing the characters.
do you like when you collect? Are you like a run collector? Like, do you try to seek out and complete runs, or is it really just random for you? Like, you're going and if you find a cover you dig, you'll buy it.
It varies. It used to be strictly Spider-Man because he already had four titles on its own, and just trying to get all those was like never ending. I can never. So it used to be strictly that, but then I went off to Avengers and certain Avengers. Like I do want to fill some small runs, like the all new, all different Avengers. Amazing. The new Avengers is my favorite. That's my Avengers. The early 2000s. That's when I really got into Avengers. Like, oh yes, Spider-Man, Wolverine. Let's do this. Very excited for that team. So I do try to fill those. Mostly Spidey, mostly Avengers, and then every small runs are fun because I do want the entire story. I want to know the whole thing, and I always want to get what I like. If I like it in any way, even if it's a goofy cartoon I liked as a kid, I was like, "That's great." Like, I'll go through it, and it's fun, and it's amazing what you can feel going through these little pages of just I don't know. It's like memories coming at you, man. It's euphoria. I love it.
Sure, man. The nostalgia is a big pull. It's a big part
Yeah,
of it, and when you were on the hot seat with us on Gary B's channel, we went through a whole, I mean, almost an hour. We sit and talked about all the nostalgia based TV shows that we watched
yeah.
and all
Heck
that.
yes.
So let me ask you this: when you like, obviously as a kid, you kind of became attracted to it. Have you collected your entire life, or are you like the rest of us? You collected for a while, then you got this space where you didn't, and then you kind of fell back into it.
Yeah, I think when I was sophomore year, I got a paying job. Like I can buy comics now, so it
Mm-hmm.
was those couple years came off because I think for most of us, it's always a dating aspect. Because now we're dating, now that money has to go towards dating, and I don't think
Right.
they're never interested. Like you're wasting comics money on comics when you can be taking me out to dinners. That's always going to be the things. I think we always go back. And I've always been lucky with my wife. I knew she was going to be my wife because she encouraged my collecting. She's like, go for it, get what you want. And I was like, heck yes. She even got me
Heck
some
yeah,
books. I was
man.
like, yeah, that's wifey material.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. So, question three, and I ask this a lot, but I'm really kind of excited to ask you about it because a lot of the content on your channel, and we'll get into all that here in a little bit, but a lot of the content are like Wednesdays, the Dollar Bin Wednesdays,
Yeah.
those things. Like, so what is your favorite way to hunt comics? I mean, like, are you an eBay guy, Instagram guy, Facebook guy? Do you like to get out in the shops? Do you like to go to antique stores, flea markets? Like, when Free Key's out hunting comics, where's he
Oh
going?
my goodness. It is unlimited. I actually love just finding it in places you'd never think, like antique shops or record shops, thrift stores, because you never know who's got what, and we know everything. We have the knowledge of what's a hot book, what's a key book. So that's the fun part. But I'm very fortunate here in Florida. Our dollar bins are ridiculous, my friend. And there's always sales almost every Labor Day. There'll be great sales. There's one shop that has a dollar bin room. So it's an entire room, thousands of long
Wow.
boxes. And he's always buying, the best thing is they buy new collections all the time. So there's fresh stuff coming in. There's so much they can't go through it. So you really find some big books. And that's my favorite. But I do, man, my brain is addicted like that. Dollar bin winning is my favorite because cover price is so high, and when it's not a good story or art, or I'm like, this is a letdown. You feel ripped off almost when you can find an amazing book for a dollar or less. And then some back bin books can really be amazing too.
Sure. No, I mean, that's one of the things that I think is the most fun, and it's the treasure hunt, right? I mean, you're out digging for gold, you're out
Oh
looking for that
yeah.
buried treasure that's buried in a long box, and that is
Yeah.
as much a pull as anything. I think that's for everybody, or I would think
Yeah.
so, because I know I like going and
Yeah.
digging back in a long box and
Yeah.
finding something that they didn't find that I know is a key and that I can get for 50 cents to a dollar. And if I want to take
Yeah.
it and sell it, I can make $10 or $20 or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. Is that really kind of the thrill for you as far as getting into it and doing that?
Complete thrill, man. It is beautiful. And it's weird because this community inspired a lot of different collecting behaviors for me. I pick up stuff because of people's excitement. I was like, oh, I can't wait till they see this book. Those little things, and that's always like my little inside jokes for all the community members. Like, oh, I know they're gonna love this. I know they're gonna comment on that, and it's really fun. It's like I'm shopping for everyone because with my Freaky Fridays, I do make it an A-OK as well. Like I've been holding this A-OK anyways. So you're the winner, bam, add to it. So that's the best part of this whole thing. My whole life, I wanted to give comics away. I already had that in me because I knew how awesome it was, and I just searched for people like, "What do you like? What do you got?" I got them all. just yesterday, my just yesterday, my daughter's friend came over to play for a play date. It's been forever, and she wanted to show off my comic room. I'm like, yeah, let's show off my comic room. And as soon as he walks in, he's like, you got Umbrella Academy? I'm like, heck yeah. And I just handed her the books like, hey, have this. It's all yours. And that was so cool. Like, what other dads have a cool book from some show, some kids watching, and they're like 10? So that was like, and my daughter's like, heck yes, my dad's actually got some cool points here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. We got, we take what we can get, won't we? I said, especially as they get older, we're no longer cool, and the fact that having a comic book is cool is a nice bonus for sure. Yeah, no. As far as like your family is concerned, and we'll make this question four is is your family into the hobby, like as far as the actual collecting? Do they collect things as well? I know you've got some small children, but do they collect? Does your wife collect?
My wife, not really, nothing like hobbyish that I know of, anyways. But my daughter is big into the manga books now, so she
Hmm.
does collect a lot of those, and she loves Books a Million is like our favorite spot to go to now. So her is that, and I think the little same thing for the figures. She likes those too from the shows,
Is it
but not
fun
like
to
me.
go? Is it fun for you to like go out with them and look for those
It
things?
is now, because I finally figured out what she likes to get into. So she's finally into it. It's like, oh, we can find these books here. Like, yeah. So it's great. It makes the bill much larger at the end, especially with
Oh
her
yeah.
books. Like her books are so like, oh goodness, that's $15 books right there.
Yeah. Oh, Dad's looking for 50 centers,
Yeah,
for
come
dollars.
on.
That's what. Come on now, we got to get into this. Yeah, but no, that's cool. It's interesting. Like my wife has no interest. My oldest daughter has no interest. My youngest daughter is a collector. Now she has the same mentality that I
Oh, I
have.
love it, dude.
Yeah, and it's I've talked about it on here. She's got a love for vinyl records, and so I take
Awesome.
her when I'm
Wow,
shopping
you
for
did good.
comic books. She likes music and she likes old music, and so she's really kind of into the vinyl. She's got an old soul, that
Awesome.
girl does. And
Love it.
so I get to hunt for comics. She hunts for vinyl, and then these other things that she likes to get, these smushmallows. I don't know,
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
yeah, oh
you
yeah,
know what those are? Some
oh
kind of
yeah.
stuffed animal. Yeah, she's all into those. So yeah, but it is nice to be able to share that. Uh, the love for the collecting. Like I had the uncle who loved it. He shared that with
Yeah.
me, and to get to share that with my kid and my nephews hopefully soon. Yeah, that's such a good part of it. So let's get into question 5, and that is, you started a YouTube channel. How long have you had your YouTube channel now?
It's almost it was just a year. I think a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so a little bit over a year now, which is really funny because every amazing event in my life is always the same month. My daughter is her birthday month, so every August I get renewed too. It's weird. Like this creative thing just burst out of me. I created these backdrops like around that time, August, and I haven't stopped. And every August I come up with some new crazy thing, and the YouTube thing was it, man. And I was inspired by a lot of different people, Comic Tom and Reggie Collects. They made me feel like, wow, they're just like me. They're the same kind of people. And then as I met more community members, same thing. Like we're all variants of each other. Like that's the whole thing. Like I love that. So it was really inspiring, and everyone is so welcoming. So I gotta give it back to. It's like it has to be welcoming all around, which I think that's the coolest part about this community. It's really the welcoming part. Like, hey man, you're a fandom, just bring it on. We'll have fun either way.
So were you looking for like a creative outlet? Because I mean, a lot of your content is really creative. Like you're putting some work in. You're coming up with these funny little intro songs like you'll do for. I saw you did one for Slot and I think Whack, and
Yeah, brother.
you've got all these little funny intros that you do, and then like I said, the live from Newport at Saturday night. That's pretty creative. Like it's funny and
Yeah,
it's taking
thanks,
something that
brother.
we all love and putting your spin on it. Like, were you looking for a creative outlet?
Completely. I've always needed that. And it's funny because once you get to that peak, then you want more. Like, I want more of this creative outlet. And that was the last 10 years has been this cool creative inspiration. And my family's a big part of it too. I think having their back and it really allows you to open up a little bit. And it was a big creative thing because it really wasn't about subs or numbers or anything like that. It was like, let me make the show I want to watch, kind of like this is stuff I want to see on YouTube. So let me make it myself. I love it because it's already stuff I'm doing. So it's all natural. I don't really have to work that hard. The song parts are just the fun. That's the funnest part of all of it. Like I can't wait for the next song, and then just showing off all these books I got. Like it's everything I want to do that nobody in my life is interested in, but you guys. I'm like, all right, I got a crowd here.
So, like, have you been creative like that your whole life? Is it something you do with your day job? Like, where? Because I don't consider myself a creative at all. Okay, not even a little bit. Like, it is for me. The hardest part is like editing the videos, and I could never write a song. Like, watching what these guys do on DJ's channel. You were on there on in the mix doing the rap
Yeah.
battle. Like there's some mad creative people in this
Yeah.
community, man. I mean, like crazy. And like, have you always been like that? I know you said when you were kids you were drawing your own comic books.
For the most part, I always wanted to do my own thing. And I'll tell you, Jimmy, this is probably the coolest part. Uh, growing up in New York, my dad was trying to get us to all get these baseball hats. And of course, I think it was not the Yankees, but the Dodgers, not the Dodgers.
The Mets.
The Giant, I think the Giant. The Mets, yes, New York Mets. So I was like, dude, I want the Superman hat. My dad's like, no, like, are you kidding me? You're gonna get destroyed every day. I'm like, I don't care what they want. I want the Superman hat. And it was this awesome red Superman hat with, I believe, a Neil Adams Superman on it. And it just, that, like, I knew then that I didn't care what anybody else thought. I'm going to get what I like, and I'm going to always do what I want. And I was like proud of myself. Like, yeah, like I'm not even trying to impress my dad, because my other two brothers, they went ahead and got those hats because I know they wanted to impress them. I get it. I was like, not me, dude. I don't care what you say. I'm getting my Superman hat. And I loved it, man. That was like the best decision ever. I'll never forget that, man.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, as far as like I said, I don't know the creative. Did you write songs? Like, have you always done that? Like, like I'm
No,
interested to know. Like, is your day job
yeah,
do stuff like this?
no,
Because it's
gosh,
really
no.
good.
No, right now I'm a massage therapist again. It's nothing too creative, but I've always been just trying to make myself laugh most of my life.
Hmm.
So this is the first time I wrote songs, which isn't too hard. I'm just kind of riffing and changing things. Same thing with the Saturday Night Louie, just slightly changing it towards comic books. So I'm really, really good at just homaging everything. Uh, but yeah, I've always felt like I could be on the real Saturday Night Live. Like, hey man, I can really do some fun stuff if I'm into it or getting paid for it. I'm like, heck yes. But this is great because there's no pressure when it's free. I'm like, oh good, I can just do whatever I want, win
Right.
or lose. Yeah.
No, I love it. Like, I mean, no, I think it's a hoot, man, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So, like, so your channel's already been. You've only, like you said, about a year. Has it changed much? Like, when you started the channel, maybe you had one vision. I know mine's changed completely. Like, it has become more my personality as it has gone on. Like, I had a
Awesome.
basic idea of how to start, and I was just doing unboxings and doing things like that. And then as it's gone on, I'm a more analytical person. I'm more into information, and my channel has kind of become that as I've
Yeah.
went on. Like, has yours changed very much since the first video you made?
I think a little bit, and I have grown into my YouTube character, which is my person, like who I am. And it's cool because we're kind of pros at it, especially when you're doing weekly content. I think you're already like, oh, I got this. Because before, I really was just trying to be easy, 3 minute episodes. Just, I knew the attention span was pretty short for most people. Like, let's keep it simple. And then eventually, it's like, you know what? Let's just show what I got. Tomorrow's promise to nobody. I want to show all these awesome books as well I can. And I got so many, dude. Like, I've blown up in just the last, like, being locked down like this is like, oh, Louis gonna get a lot of books now. I was too busy. So yeah, it's been such a blast, my man. I can't tell you this, and this community has encouraged me and inspired me in all different ways and directions. And it's weird because I'm saying so many affectionate things to all these men online that I never would, strangers basically. And look at us, dude. We all love each other. It's the best.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it really is just a bunch of dudes that just hang out and share
Yeah.
love for each other. I don't know. I love it. I mean, like for me, I never like I really kind of had this idea that all right, get 100 subs. Okay, now let's go for the next thing, and I'm gonna hit 1,000 subs, and I'm gonna walk away. I just want to prove that it can be done. I want to prove to my
Yeah.
kids that it can be done. And so I've hit the 1,000 subs, and I wouldn't stop doing this. You would have to drag me away from this. Like it is
Isn't it
really
something?
one of the yeah. I mean, like I just enjoy it, and I think it'll ebb and flow for me over time. Where how busy I am, and with my real life and what I do, but I don't know that I could ever stop this now. I just enjoy it so much, and I enjoy the community aspect of it so much that I just don't know that I can stop. Do you feel that same way?
Completely, dude. If I go a week, I'm like, man, I miss my friends. And it is like you almost don't want people to worry about you too. If you don't put stuff out there, it's like, hey, what's going on with this guy? You'll get a bunch of messages on Instagram. But it is just it's the excitement. Like you can't wait to tell your friends what you got. Like, oh, I can't wait to show them what I got. It's like you get that Star Wars toy that everybody's been waiting for. It's like, I got it, guys. We can finally play with this. So I can't get enough of it, and it's hard because you actually have to try to manage that obsession because your family gets jealous too. It's like, hey, we're here too. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys. Because going on to live, oh man, that takes so much. That absorbs every
Yeah.
second. I was like, oh,
Well, and that's one of the things that, and we'll make this question six. And one of the things that I'm experiencing, and I've been asking everybody because I just want to know, because like you said, I love it when you say we're all variants of each other because it is so true. Um,
yeah.
but like, I find it harder now to make content because my life has gotten so busy now that things are trying to get back to normal, specifically with the kids. It's just like I have to find time, like I have to schedule it in so that I can get this content done. I mean, literally, Louie and I, we're recording this. It's Sunday night. It is 10:27 at night, and Louie and I have been trying to get together for the past 2 days, and both times I had to message him and say, "Dude, I can't do it. My kid's got this going on." And I did it to him twice, and he was cool enough to say, "Yeah, man, you're good. Do your thing." And
We know the ways.
yeah, so do you find it harder now as we're hopefully kind of coming out and getting back to normal as much as we can? And you're in Florida, so you're pretty much wide open as it
Oh
is.
yeah.
You know, is it harder to find the time to make the content?
A little bit, because before it was such short content, like, oh, I was doing 5 minutes a week and it was done. But now you want to do more, especially with the Saturday Night Louie. I love it. People love it so much. And I feel like I owe it to people. And a lot of times when someone sends me an A-OK, I'm like, oh, now I have to like do this whole thing so I can show off this A-OK. That's my favorite part too. I love that I can kind of shout people out because I think I get the most viewers, like the most attention people can get to this channel. So it's so many great things combined in one night. So it is tough because you want to give it your all, especially writing the episodes for Saturday Night Louie. Like I want to do it, but it's so much work. And it is time. You have to, just like everything, schedule it right. If you schedule everything right, you're on point. But if you like kind of go just all over the place, forget it. You're never going to catch up to yourself.
No, and I mean I agree with that 100%. And that's one of the that's the challenge that I face right now. Like I have big plans this coming weekend. I'll be gone for 4 days at a rock festival.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've got I'm going to what Metallica's headlining two
Love
nights. Like I
it.
ain't missing that.
Love it. Love
And
it.
so I've got to figure out how to get content in and get it recorded and get it
Yeah.
edited, and I got to find the time to do that.
Is
So
that funny?
yeah, so it's just, but like it's like I have to do it, and
Oh yeah.
as much for the people who watch my channel, but as much for me, because I freaking love it. I don't know. It's
Yes.
just hard to
You do.
explain.
It makes the week go. It's like, oh, I can't wait for my day that I put this day out and everybody's looking forward to it and I know the time. It is because you're part of that. Like we're all cogs. And then once it's your turn on the cog, like, hey man, this is my little time. And you like I think when Mark of Legion of Comics, when he was out for a week, he made some pre-recorded stuff. And some people were saying, he's like, tuning into you weekly, like that really helps me out to get through the week. And I totally feel that. Like, man, there is times like when you miss somebody, like I just want to be part of that moment where we're all just kind of talking, even though we're all in different places, all doing different things, probably at work. And it's touching, man. But it is work. Like when you're going on vacation and you have to make sure somebody's covering your butt. It's the same thing. You have to get ready everything and schedule it and everything, which I love, man. But it's also good to live life away from the digital because we are obsessed. Like I am obsessed, man. Like I have to like flip it. My friend's like, you're on too long. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I realize you're here. So going to that concert is one of the best things, dude. That's gonna be so good for you. And I'm excited. 4 days, my goodness, that rules.
Oh man. And the thing is like in my mind, I'm already thinking about, okay, how can I make some content out of this? Like,
Yeah.
and which I intend to do. I intend to take you guys with me, to
Yes.
Louder Than
Yes.
Life, and
Yes.
let you see, not because I am one of those people like it dry. And I don't know, this is completely off subject, but I'm one of those people that when I go, like I take my kids to concerts, right?
Nice.
And they'll have their phones up recording it the whole time. And it drives me crazy
Yeah.
because I'm like, they're right there in front of you. Just
Mhm.
look. Don't look through this.
Yeah.
just look. And so, but I'm going to, because I won't allow myself, because I want to be in the moment. Like, I want to experience, like, Thursday night is Corn. That's the headliner
Oh
that night.
yes, dude.
You know,
Nice.
Friday night is Metallica, and right before them is Jane's Addiction, who I freaking love.
Dude, wow, what a
Um,
lineup.
yeah, oh, it's insane. We got Stain, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
Um, Snoop Dogg
Oh,
was going to be there. He dropped out because of COVID, and then Nine Inch Nails dropped out because of COVID. But you got Disturbed. I mean, just the
thanks.
list of bands goes on and on.
Yes,
Judas
dude.
Priest.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
I just can't wait. Like, I am going to
Wow.
release. It was funny. I told my wife. I said I'm going to do like a reaction video, like how people when they're watching movies they react to it. I'm going to show you all how I act and behave at a concert because I get down.
Yes. Yes. The mosh pit, you're like, get out here.
Yeah, I get down,
Oh,
baby. I mean,
yes.
like, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Love
All
it,
right, so
dude.
question 7, and I find this fascinating. Okay, there's probably not a better person to ask than you, and that is cosplay. Like, you're huge into cosplay, and like, kind of talk about that a little bit, like how that started. Like, what got you into the cosplay? Let's start there. What got you into doing the cosplay to begin with?
Well, way back when I used to go to cons just to get really good deals on comic books, I remember seeing some cosplayers and I just didn't understand. I'm like, oh no, it's kind of creepy, man. But as I left, I saw a Ghostbuster family all dressed up and I was in like, oh my goodness, I love that. Now I get it. So that was kind of something. So one year for my birthday, my wife asked me what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to dress up as the Batman family and go to the Tampa Bay Comic Con, and she gracefully accepted, and we had a blast. And we were actually people loved us. We were actually in the paper too. There
Oh,
was
wow.
a story about us, yeah, and they're like they brought their 1 year old daughter out here to her first con, and it was really really neat, and that was fun. Being Batman was the best. So the year after that, I got the black and white Spider-Man suit, the Venom suit, Peter Parker one. And I was like, this is so cool. I just love how this feels. Like my whole life, I always wanted a Spider-Man suit. I was like, yeah. But I didn't know how to do any cool flips or anything. Like I can't do nothing, but I can stand. So I created a Secret Wars backdrop. So I was like, it made sense. All I gotta do is stand like this, looking at my costume. And I already love drawing. So all my favorite stuff just got combined into one. That's what's recreating these backdrops. And it's so much fun, dude. I met so many people. I actually been in a comic book, um, Amazing Spider-Man 797. They printed my letter in the Spider Mail. They published my letter, and it was my letter to Dan Slott because he finished writing for it. I'm like, hey man, he was my best friend, and he's like, Dan Slott talked about you all the time, and there's my picture with him there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that wild? And then this other one up here, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, how cool is that?
that's the best. So I'm in a Spider-Man book, and I love it. I mean, a Ross cover. What else could you want? So I keep following my dreams, and it keeps happening. I've been in the newspaper a couple times too, and a lot of it's for cosplaying. And volunteer cosplaying is another amazing thing, man. Wow! Like if you really want to feel like amazing, that's it. That's the one. You actually feel like a superhero. It's really really cool.
That's cool, man. So you will go out and dress up and do community service. Just that's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I
Oh
hadn't
gosh,
really
yeah.
because like, and I gotta be honest. Like, I've had one experience in my life where I was in high school. I've never told anybody this. Maybe my wife knows, but I was in high school and we had a costume, Halloween party. And of course, it was fall, and here in Kentucky, it was raining and there were leaves everywhere. And I dressed as Batman. And I live down this 2 lane road, hills on both sides, and there's leaves blowing everywhere. It's cold and it's raining. I had a Camaro, and I was driving down through there, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm Batman!
Yes. Yes.
I am Batman!" Every Batman
Oh
movie you've
yes.
ever watched, it's
Oh
always
yes.
dark and rainy, and I was like, "Dude, I'm Batman right now." So, like, I kind of get it, but I've been to cons, and I never really like I don't know that I would ever really want to get dressed up. So like trying to really kind of understand that. So for you, it really kind of started out as a family thing, right? You just
It did. And then eventually went on with me and my best friend. Like he is 10 years older than me. And we did a Deadpool Spider-Man team up for the last 8 years. And we've had so much fun. It should be illegal how much fun we had at cons dressed up with these guys. People love us. They line up for pictures for miles, and we're so good at moving people. So it was hanging out with my best friend as a fun thing. But the conventions are so accepting, just like this community for cosplayers. They love you. Kids are like freaking losing their minds, and everybody wants a picture. It is that's why I remember when I told my wife, like, just get people are going to ask for your pictures 100 times. Like, I'm sorry, it's going to happen. So just be used to it. But that's the best part. So even if you ever think about dressing up in anything you would want to think, people are going to eat you up, and they're like, oh my god, Batman. So you never know, dude. It's actually an extra layer of fun on top of cons. And cons are the best. That's not the one place where it's not so creepy and weird. Because sometimes Halloween can be like a little bit, but cons are like 100% acceptable.
so everybody's good no matter what, right? Yeah, you show
Yeah,
up
heck
and
yeah.
everybody's just cool. I mean, I know like some of it was we were at a dance competition in Columbus, Ohio, and there was a con going on. It was like I was so happy because
Yes.
I complain about the dance, right? Because it is I love watching my girls dance. It's the other 50 that I have to watch that are the
Yeah.
issue. But there was a con going on. So while the other 50 teams were dancing, I went walk around, right, and looked for comic books and shops. So it was like, it was
Yeah.
great. So, but a lot of it, like my kids were reasonably young at the time, right? So we're walking around. You've got these people dressed up in these real scantily clad outfits. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, all right, maybe some of it is for attention. That could be some of it.
Oh yeah.
But but like I dig what you're saying. Like I would do that in a heartbeat. Dress up like the Superman family and go to a con with my family.
Dude, right? Have an awesome photo op. People, and
Yeah.
you never know who's there. Like, when I met this guy, like that was a dream come true. Clark Kent, are you kidding me? Tom Welling,
Oh
love this
wow.
guy. That was a huge, huge deal for me. And he was so cool, dude. He put his arm around me, and I was like enamored. Like, oh man, you're my man crush. And he was so cool and so nice, dude. I love it. That's the other my favorite part, meeting my heroes, meeting people I really, my whole life, like, I looked up to you my whole life, man. Like, you're really a big deal to me. And you're taking a picture of me here, and you're like putting your arm around me. It's crazy. And I eat it up, man. Like, I can't get enough joy. You're really a kid in a candy store at cons.
That's awesome, man. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, and that has always intrigued me about why people get dressed up and go. And but you explaining it, it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, it's just fun. It's a different way to interact with the community, and it's fun.
Oh
You
gosh, yeah.
enjoy it. So, talking about the boards behind you, has that always been a part of like your cosplay when you go, like you create a comic book cover and you kind of stand in front of it? Has that always been part of it for you, or is that something that's kind of evolved over time?
For the most part, it's always been part of it. I try to recreate what it looks like, and I'm the character inside of it. I try to pose just like it, and I always am inspired. I bring a new one every year. I'm either inspired by someone who's visiting the con, like Daredevil, Charlie Cox. I met him, so I made a cool Daredevil one. Um, Stranger Things. I met Bobby, I forget her name, last name now, but Elle from Stranger Things.
Oh
So I
yeah,
made one of those. So it's always inspired by different people, different artists. If I'm going to meet an artist, I always wanted to meet, like, hey, I recreated your stuff, and they sign it. It's really, really cool. People who created Ren and Stimpy, I got like 5 signatures on one of those big ones. So it's a lot of different things, either costumes I want to wear, if there's a new suit that I want to get, because I have like 10 Spider-Man suits, and I love them. I love them all. That's the fun part. I miss my Spidey suits. Like every year, my wife or my mother-in-law would get me a Spider-Man suit for my birthday. I was like, yes, like that's my birthday suit, baby.
yeah, absolutely. Do you still have all those suits, or do you get rid of
I
them after
do, I
time?
do. No, I. It's hard to squeeze into them every year. Like, dang it. But it's still so fun, dude. And because people don't care. They don't care what you look like. They're like, oh, dude, like you're doing what I want to do secretly, but you're doing it. I'm like, I am.
Right. Have
And
you
the
ever
aging thing.
have you ever had like a crazy interaction? like something that you never told anybody before, but like a crazy interaction, like being dressed up at one of these cons?
Yeah, because there's always going to be somebody who's drank too much or just normally inappropriate, and 99% of them are Deadpools. They're all horrible people. They're the worst at cons, the worst. Because that's the people's like, oh, I can be a total jerk, and people are like, that's Deadpool. It's like, no, nobody. That's like they really do that character well, which is it's okay. You've had a couple people, they grab you and things like that. It's like you're a guy. What are you doing? So it's really strange, but that's the other part of it because even in this community, there's just some people who are just inverted and introverted. They're just not socially accepted in any way, but here they are. So like you take a man, like, hey man, we're cool, just don't hurt me or anything, and we're good. Because it is for a lot of people, that's the only conversation they have. Same thing at comic book shops. Sometimes you'll talk to somebody who's just like a little not there, but you're the first conversation they had probably in weeks with a human being. So I always try to give them that, like, hey man, we're talking about the same thing we both love, same topic. So I always knew you kind of expect that a little bit. And then some of the girls can be a little bit risque, which I think some of them might do other things at night when they come to the cons. They look like, wow, you really look like a character, which I'm actually not the biggest fan of the over sexualization of characters. Like that's Halloween night. Like have fun at that. Here, this is the convention of geeks. Like we're trying to, show our fandom here. So for me, I never really appreciated that too much. Plus there's so many kids. So many kids
Right.
go to cons and a lot of special needs kids. That's my favorite part because they really think, oh my god, I would have like people come up, it's like, can my brother come up and hug you? I'm like, of course. And this giant kid comes up, picks me up, and squeezes me. And I love it, dude. I'm like, yes. And it's the best because they really think you're Spidey. It's like, Spidey, I just hug Spidey.
Oh, that's cool, man. I love it. So you were talking about the community service aspect. Like, what kind of stuff have you done?
Oh
As
gosh,
far as
so many hospital visits at Shriners, which is just amazing, dude. Like those kids, they're the real heroes because you meet them, like they're going through stuff we can't even imagine, and they're like so happy. He's like, I'm like wow. Also, Down Syndrome Day. There's been a couple like at the Rotaries, and then the Tampa Bay Stadium would do a really big day, and it was cool because we'd actually go up to the boat where they shoot the cannon. They like go all out for these kids, and that's really really amazing. And I've done Flash, Spider-Man, all different kinds of Spider-Man. We've gone to schools before. Really, I was really lucky because that was another big part of something I wanted to do, and it's more cosplay. So I was like cosplaying all year long and loving every second of it, and just spreading joy. It's like my joy is your joy too. Are you kidding me? It's like everybody's winning here. So
that's
that's
awesome,
that's
Louis.
the coolest part, dude. Like I'm telling you.
That's so cool, man. I said, as far and it's really an aspect that I'd never even considered. That people that are really into it can do that and give back, and you get to have fun, but the kids
Yes.
get to have fun, and I think that's fantastic, man. I love it. All right,
Heck
so
yes.
all right, question 8. I've always been interested where you do like these intros and the music aspect. Like, what kind of music is Louis into? Like, what's your favorite band of all time?
Man, I'm so everywhere, but if I had to choose one, I think Sublime. Because I did get a tattoo. Like, you know what? Stick with my brand. Same thing with Spidey. I got a Spidey tattoo. I was like, I gotta stick with Spidey. But yeah, Sublime was really spoke to me. That was kind of the first one that spoke to me because I wasn't into music as a kid. I loved music in all 80s movies. They had the best soundtracks.
Hmm.
But as a kid, I was more into like TV intros and cartoon intros. That was like my music. But once the late 90s came, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is speaking to me now. So, gosh, almost everything from 96, I think 96 to early 2000s, I was like in. And I'm also locked in there. Like, I don't care about any other music after that. There's some good stuff here and there, but there is something about 80s and 90s music that is forever locked in my heart. And we hold it dear forever. Like, name me one song from 2000s that you care about that much. Like, it's
Yeah.
not there.
Well, and I think it goes back again when it comes to music. It's also nostalgia because you'll hear there are songs that I'll hear and I'll think of a girl that I dated in high school
Yeah.
or like your first love. You
Yeah.
know, there's a song that plays and I think of my wife. And that's the beautiful thing about music is it is the theme song to our life, right? There's just a
Yeah.
thousand different,
Yes.
and it's there's just a thousand different things. I think about Nirvana. I can remember the first time I ever heard Teen Spirit. And this is a true story. Was pulling out of my grandmother's after church. We have Sunday dinner every Sunday after church, still do to this day. And we were pulling out. It was after church, pulling out of my grandma's after Sunday dinner. My mom turned the radio on, and Teen Spirit came on. I can remember that like it was yesterday.
Beautiful.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, give me some other, because I love Sublime. Like, give me some other bands that you like.
Gosh, because my first concert was Third Eye Blind, and I was like crazy about that. I was like, dude, this is the best thing ever. And I mean, Bob Marley, CCR is a big one for me. Clearwater Crew,
CCR.
man, those guys. um, Gosh, Billy Joel is a huge one for me, and I've seen most of these guys. I'm so lucky. My wife and I saw. God, I always forget his name, but shoot, from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh goodness, but we seen him live. That was amazing. He's like, "Hello." Think of his name, Richie,
Lionel
Lionel
Richie.
Richie. We saw Lionel Richie live. Like that was, and Lionel was so great. He's like, I'm not doing any singing tonight because all of you guys are going to be singing for me. Like it was true. Everyone was at the top of their lungs, and it was the best.
Listen, "Dancing on the Ceiling" is one of my favorite songs of all time. I
Yes,
love that song so
yes,
much. Yeah, no, I mean it really is. I find music, and like I said, and it's just like the stuff that you'll do where you'll kind of homage songs, and do different things. Like I find that cool. But I think music is a big part of a lot of people's lives, and whether you realize it or not, it brings back so many cool memories.
heck yes, dude. It
Yeah,
does.
I love
I
it.
believe it's therapy. They use it for Alzheimer patients. It's a great therapy for them because it helps them remember a lot of stuff. And that's a key, man. Like we have to, because we're lucky. We got the best stuff. I thought, like our generation's got all of
Yeah.
it. Like yeah, man. Like it was hit after hit after hit, man.
Oh no, like I said, I cannot wait. Like we were talking about the concert earlier. Like I can't even explain to you like how excited I am because it's been a while. Like the
It's
last
been a
show I went,
while.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the last show I went to was at Louder Than Life. I went for one night because I wanted to see Guns N' Roses. I'd never seen GNR, and then Ice Cube played too, and I wanted to see Cube. And so I went long enough. I watched Cube, I watched Godsmack, and then I watched GNR,
Love
and it was a
Godsmack.
great
Awesome.
show. I had a ball, but no, I'm like I love music. Like it's a huge part of who I am, and like there's this. Nobody cares about this. I'm going to tell you because we're having the conversation.
Yeah.
But like this week is so like parallel of my life, right? Like the different people that I am, and like I have to go Thursday, and I have to meet with this company and get prepared for a hearing that we're going to on Friday. I'm the chairman of the water district here locally, and it's been rough. Let's just say that a lot of bad infrastructure, a lot of bad
Oh,
government
brother.
oversight over the years. It's a bad deal. So I was asked to come on, and it's become a passion of mine. So I'm going down to prep for that, leaving the prep to go watch Corn, and then I'm going to drive back to Louisville or to Frankfurt the next morning to go testify at this
That's
hearing before this
awesome.
commission, and then I'm going to leave and go back and watch Metallica. So,
Yes.
so there's this giant parallel
I love it.
of what I'm going to do. So anyway, nobody cares about that. They're here to see you, but
Dude.
but I cannot wait because I'm going to release
Yeah,
so much
man.
aggression, and so much pent up energy that night. I can't wait.
Yes, dude. I love when it all works out like that too. It's like I can
Yes,
do it all.
yes. All right. So question 9: do you collect anything, or like what are some other interests that you have outside of comics? Like, do you collect anything else?
It's mostly comics, but I'll tell you, I started first with cards.
Oh
So I was
yes.
a card kid, yeah, and I was spending all my little monies on cards, and I loved it. Frank Thomas, so the Sox was my
I
favorite
was gonna
team
say the Big
ever.
Hurt, baby.
Right, man. I had his shoes. I was all about the Big Hurt. Robin Ventura is another favorite. But cards were my first thing because I didn't even see comics. I didn't know. I was just like, oh, I'll just go for a bunch of cards. And it was great. And I miss those times too when you're a kid and you're like trying to show off what you got or trade stuff. I miss those days. That was really something. Like especially people like, I got a Michael Jordan card. Like, what?
Yeah.
So those are fun times. I'm glad I was part of it. And it was short lived, but I loved every second of it.
Cool. Do you still collect cards today? Do you still
It's
seek
been
those
no,
out?
not since I was a kid. I see the ones at Walmart every now and then. I'm tempted, but I don't even really watch much. I don't really watch much of stuff, even though I'm here in Tampa, which they win everything. We're Champa, like I pretty much win everything of everything. So it's fun to be in the hometown because the Bucks win the ice guys at the baseball. It's like, man, this is great. But I, for the most part, don't watch much stuff right now.
Something you said earlier, I guess, would almost be considered a collection, are these boards that you do and you get people to sign them. Like, what do you do with those after the fact? Do you still use them or do you display them somewhere?
I still use them because I usually get more people added on. And I did try to enter it to the Guinness Book World of Records because it is the largest comic book that's been signed. But the problem is I never have video. You need video proof. I'm like, I can't do it all, man.
Right.
And then you have to have somebody there to watch the video proof. They're willing to do it, but it's a whole process. I thought I wanted that. I was like, man, that's a lot of work. It's like I'm good. I've been in a comic book. I'm happy. But yeah, I should preserve them because I mean I got signed Rob Liefeld, all kinds of people. I think the first one was for the Secret Wars. So Jim Zek, Mike Zeck,
Mike
and
said, yeah.
And Jim Shooter. I got him to sign it too, and I got pictures with all of them. They were so great, man. Like that was they were another part that made me feel normal because most people are like freaked out, like, dude, what are you? And then I show them like, oh wow, that's actually amazing. Like, thank you. So I get so many compliments. I'm almost addicted to them now. Like, oh, if I don't get compliments, but it's really been just the most fun adventure. And last year at MegaCon, I was supposed to meet Zach Morris and AC Slater from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And I was all ready to go, and they all got canceled. And dude, that hurt me. I'm
Oh,
still
my bad,
recovering.
man.
Same thing with Lou Ferrigno. He was supposed to come to Tampa, and he canceled. I'm like, Lou,
Come
you're
on,
killing me, Lou.
Lou.
You're on a bucket
You're
list
killing me,
too.
Lou. Yeah, man. I would
Oh,
love to meet Ferrigno. Like, I
oh,
would
man.
love to meet him.
I'm addicted to meeting these guys. Meet your heroes, I say. In movies, when people go to someone's apartment and they find all these pictures, like, wow, they knew the president, they knew this person. That's what I want. I want people to go into my room, like, wow, they met this guy. Like, Louis met this guy. I can't believe it. I got 3 pictures of Stan Lee. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
in.
man.
Oh,
Absolutely, brother. All right. So, question 10, last question.
woo.
And I'm kind of interested to ask you this because I know a lot of your content you chasing dollar bin finds and
Yeah,
really
baby.
getting good deals on things. Like, do you have a grail that you're chasing? Like, is there anything out there that you gotta have that you're chasing right now?
A couple, and it's really cover buys. Like I always wanted, of course, all of the Amazing Spider-Man ones, but that's either never gonna happen or just little. Because the oldest one I have is a 44, and I got it for $5. I'm like, what the heck? Like I'm not gonna spend 100 now for whatever. Like I can find deals. I just got to look for it right. Um, so that's the whole thing. Because I know I can always get it better. I'm getting better at waiting, so I don't really get the FOMO. Sometimes I get the FOLO, fear of leaving out. Like, oh man, I had it. It was a good deal, and I left it behind. Dang it! I'm never gonna get a good deal like that again. So I've had that a couple times, but I'm really more all about the dollar bin wins because I don't feel in any way that's a loss. No matter what I spend, like man, that was nothing. That's like a McDonald's lunch, whatever that cost. And now I got a
Yeah.
great book, and I don't do it to really flip them or sell them. It's like I got it. What am I going to do now? I'm not going to spend 3 times as much to get it anymore because I got it now. So I do love the dollar bin hunts because I can do that every day, all day, and for the rest of my life and love it. My back might hate me for pulling all those things and reaching so much into there.
Right.
Man, I feel like Uncle Scrooge just digging through this stuff. I love it. Love it.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. No, look, Louis, I really have enjoyed this, and You are truly one of the kindest people I've
Oh,
met. Like
thanks,
I had
brother.
no, like I didn't know that you were doing the community service, through the cosplay. Like I didn't know that. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. Um, and like I think that's phenomenal. I said, and to get to talk to you, like when I met you, really got to talk to you on Gary B's channel on In the Hot Seat. I was like, I've got to talk to Louie. Like I
Yeah.
love this guy.
Oh, thanks,
Like
man.
you truly are, man. You're one of the kindest people. And if you're watching this, I'll put all Louie's stuff down in the description
Yeah,
below.
brother.
He is, to me, he is the most criminally undersub channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like it is, I don't understand like why he doesn't have a million subs. Like to me, that's how good his channel is, how creative his content is, and just
Yeah.
what a kind person that he truly is, and the kind heart that he has for the community. And and now we know out his own community, like the community where he lives, and
Yeah.
the children there. I think that's fantastic.
I
So
guess. Thank you, brother.
yeah, no, man. Like I said, you're the best, dude. You really are. Like I love Free Key Louie. I can't get
Yeah,
enough. So
baby.
yeah. So and I hope to get to meet you one day. I do
I know,
travel down in
dude.
Florida.
That's my favorite part of this whole community. Like, I
Yep.
see pictures of people meeting up. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, no, like I do. I travel down in Florida, so I hope we get to hook up one
Nice.
day.
Yeah, brother.
So if you're not subbed up to Free Key Louie, go do that
Come
right now.
on.
Yeah, go check out this amazing content. He really does find some crazy books in the dollar bins. Like
Yeah, it's
he
almost
really does.
unbelievable.
It is. It's like insane. But yeah, just like you said, you put the work in, get out and hunt. And you're lucky because, like you
Yeah.
said, where you live, you got some
Oh
amazing comic
yeah.
shops. So
If you ever visit me, I got 3 spots in Tampa. Bring an empty suitcase, my friends. I'm telling
I'm
you, I got you.
listen, brother. Like I do, we travel down that way quite often, and so I'm
Oh,
definitely
it's
going to hit up Free
beautiful.
Key at some
Dollar
point,
bin
man.
rooms, I tells you.
Woohoo! I can't wait. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Spend a little time here today with me and Louie
Yeah,
here on 10
boy.
Questions. Definitely go sub my dude up. Also, pay it. Stay on the lookout. I've hit that 1,000 sub mark. We're getting ready to do the 1,000 sub giveaway. That'll be announced here pretty soon. Just trying to make sure the number holds, and and I
Come
don't
on,
hit
brother.
under. Yeah, so we'll do that, and then of course the code with Street Level Hero LA. That's STC10. You get 10% off your order, but 25% of your overall order is donated to the American Cancer Society for cancer research. So
Come
can't
on.
do any better than that. You buy a cool comic book, you
Yeah.
get to raise some money for a great cause, right? So,
Love it.
guys, again, thank you so much. What can I say? Free Key Louie, man, here on
Yeah,
10 Questions.
baby.
So pumped. That's it, guys. This has been 10 Questions.
Enough said.